Hello and welcome to Naivety Gaming, and I'm your host Matt, and this is Cheap Weekly Thrills, a year in review. Make sure to like and subscribe for brand new content. For those who don't know, Cheap Weekly Thrills is where I browse Steam and find games that have been released in the past week for $5 or less. For this special episode of Cheap Weekly Thrills, I wanted to have a script prepared so I could voice my exact thoughts versus doing the traditional off-the-cuff commentary on why I, and you, the community, chose these next 10 games as our favorite brand new indie games from this past year. Without further ado, here's number 10. LabGen by Grove Fall Studios. It would have been a sin to not include a single game from Grove Fall Studios, as we've seen their games in more than 3 separate episodes of Cheap Weekly Thrills. LabGen is a puzzle maze game, the type of mazes we've played as children in newspapers and magazines, but with an interesting twist. Every maze is new and unique and procedurally generated right before your eyes. From 6x6 maps all the way up to 30x30, LabGen has a difficulty level for everyone. Between the relaxing music and customizability of different settings, Grove Falls Studios creates a fun, simplistic puzzle game for everyone. At a price less than $2, you definitely won't break the bank with the many hours of fun ahead as you collect all the possible Steam achievements. Stick Fight, the Game by Landfall Studios. We're going to take a trip down memory lane to our very first episode of Cheap Weekly Thrills, all the way back to October 3rd, 2017, when we published our first episode. We had no idea what our identity was and what we wanted to do with the show. That's when Stick Fight the Game comes in. After seeing many Let's Players enjoy early access copies of this game, I already knew this game would be a great one because of its simplistic graphics, absurdly fun gameplay, wide variety of random weaponry, and the developer's attention to detail in regard to the game mechanics and game testing. Stick Fight the Game was the perfect game to start a brand new series on because the greater known audience here on YouTube have already play tested, came to the conclusion that it is a reliable and not buggy game, and have continually come back to play it more. Even to this day, Stick Fight has remained its cheap $5 price tag, so if you're looking for a fun Battle Arena Super Smash Bros. Inspired game that you can enjoy with your friends, Stick Fight the Game is for you. Cube Racer by Simon Blazin. Cube Racer to me has a very special place in my heart, so it was bound to make the list in some capacity. Cube Racer is a free-to-play racing game where you can race alone in a campaign-styled single-player mode, or race against friends in a chaotic multiplayer mode, where after each round, each player can add a new obstacle to the track. Between the relatively minimalistic 3D graphics, the intuitive controller support, single-player campaign, online multiplayer, and map creator, Cube Racer offers an expansive list of things to do that will keep you interested in coming back for a long time to come. On top of all the fun gameplay and unique tracks, the reason why Cube Racer has a special place in my heart is because of Simon Blazin. Simon Blazin was the first indie developer to reach out to me and thank me for showing off his game, and as a content creator on YouTube, you rarely get thanks or praise on doing the job you're doing, and especially from the developers themselves, so it was a really cool moment for us at Naivety Gaming. The game was originally released at the price of $5, but as I made mention earlier, the game is now currently free to play, so you guys should definitely have no issues picking this game up. Sunken by Trevor Madge. Some games do not need complexity to be fun, and Trevor Madge shows that very idea with Sunken. A chaotic battle for the last man standing, but as little pirate ships. Grab items that help escape the aim of your enemies, and don't forget to grab some ammo. Sunken has many different game modes and options to help make a unique experience for every player. Sunken also gives players a great sense of immersion as Trevor perfectly creates an environment to bar none, from the pirate narrator to the sound effects, and even to the most quintessential music to represent this game. At only $3, it's hard to go wrong with Sunken. Hex 2 by Studio Goya. Hex 2, a very visually pleasing, minimalistic hexagonal puzzle game. Playing as a simple circle, your job is to jump from tile to tile to remove them to beat the level. Hex 2 features amazing sound design, relaxing electronic music, smooth graphics, and more than 70 levels to solve. The level's difficulty scales linearly, so don't be frightened about a potentially high learning curve. Hex 2 is no longer on sale as it now displays the $7 price tag, but if you're a fan of relaxing puzzle games, Hex 2 is definitely a game that needs to be in your Steam library. I Can't Believe It's Not Gambling by Mutant Entertainment Studios. I mean, where do I even begin with this game? Rather than trying to take themselves seriously and attempt to create a game that revolves around an incredible game mechanic or a storyline that's incredibly immersive, Mutant Entertainment Studios said, screw that, let's make satire. I Can't Believe It's Not Gambling takes a satirical look on the current situation of loot boxes and their place in video games. So Mutant Entertainment devised a game that looks like it came out of an Electronic Arts wet dream. Loot boxes are the game. You start the game, and you open loot boxes, hoping that their rewards will grant you enough currency to open the next level of loot boxes. Filled with mini-games that stabs at Electronic Arts, the primary instigator of the debate of loot boxes, I Can't Believe It's Not Gambling gives you a well-polished game for those looking for a good laugh. And at 99 cents, Mutant Entertainment has you laughing for a great price. One Shift by Mazin Games. One Shift by Mazin Games is a platforming puzzle game where you control a character that can pause time and teleport between multiple dimensions. With dynamic music, everything stops as you can switch between worlds as you find the solution from the fragments of paths in each world. With having to teleport in midair sometimes in later levels, One Shift gives you a unique way to solve each level to find the keys to the exit. With spectacular music and sound design, Mazin Games gives the player a special gaming experience, and a cheap one too at only $5. Supsu by Growfall Studios. Supsu is a puzzle game where you move and rotate blocks floating in space as you guide a sphere with various magnets. With complex situations, Supsu requires you to rotate the world to help find that singular path through all the extraneously floating blocks. While each level gets harder as they progress, Supsu creates a different way for veteran puzzle-goers to solve their puzzles. Space-esque music and sound design aid you on your journey through the 25 complicated levels. And at $2, Growfall Studios gives expert puzzlers a good game for a good price. Radiant One by Fantastic. Radiant One finds its way onto our number 2 spot today as it brings a different genre of gaming that we traditionally haven't really covered all that much in cheap weekly thrills, a story-based RPG. Traditionally, it has been difficult to find very well polished and genuinely fun story-based RPGs in this price range, as most of them are written by people who have never written a script before, have lots of bugs, are too monotonous as they're trying to establish a plot line, or are just simply too expensive. With Radiant One, Fantastic provides us with a rather short story about a man who discovers lucid dreaming and finds himself unable to perceive real life from dream as he begins to lose control of his reality. Yes, the script writing is a bit cheesy at times, but F-Ntastic does a wonderful job establishing the story very quickly, showing off well-designed minimalistic graphics, music that flows and evolves with each scene, and truly immerses you in Daniel's story. Because of its great graphics and incredible story, many of my friends in Naivety Gaming have even picked this up on their own and tried out Radiant 1 for themselves, and everybody I've talked to has really enjoyed this game. And for $5, I cannot recommend this game enough to lose yourself in this amazing journey. Mini Metro by Dinosaur Polo Club. Alright, yes I know, this one technically shouldn't even be on this list, because when I recorded this episode on June 24th, Mini Metro had been out on the market for 961 days prior to that recording date. So my deductive reasoning tells me that 961 days is just slightly longer than a week. So this game absolutely does not qualify to be on this top spot, nonetheless on the list itself. However, I believe Mini Metro is genuinely an incredible game, and you guys should definitely check it out if you haven't already. I should make mention that I am not being sponsored by Dinosaur Polo Club or are affiliated to them in any way. This is my own personal and honest opinion. Mini Metro is a game that takes a minimalistic look on the creation and further development of a brand new subway system in a cityscape environment. Points of interest spawn, and it is up to you, an urban developer and planner, to figure out how to efficiently and effectively connect these points in the best way possible to alleviate long wait times and angry customers. The music starts off in silence and begins to grow with your city. Dinosaur Polo Club's attention to detail in this game is absolutely staggering, as they have thought out every possible option that the player could ask for, like an in-depth settings and menu screen, to the normal and endless and extreme game modes, all while keeping a unified, minimalistic design. This game is still currently at $10, so again, it really doesn't qualify as a cheap weekly thrill, but it does often go on sale to $5 during the Steam summer sale and winter sales, and during any other Steam sale really, as I've seen. And since it is mid-October, the Steam winter sale should not be more than a couple of months away. That being said, I cannot recommend Mini Metro enough. Now, on to our number one pick for cheap weekly thrills, a year in review. Delete by Pony. Delete, a puzzle game based off the famous computer game Minesweeper, but remade into a three-dimensional world with great graphics and amazing ambient music. I fell in love with this game, not during the initial review, but after giving it a second try. After that, I genuinely seriously could not put this game down. I finished all the levels in 2 or 3 sessions, and it was spectacular. Delete is polished incredibly well, with no bugs and no problems. Delete is everything you should expect from not only a cheap weekly thrill, but from a video game in general. A great soundscape, intuitive controls, spectacular graphics, fitting music, interesting levels, and many opportunities for replayability. Even after completing all the Steam achievements, I still found myself going back to this game. Delete, in my opinion, is one of the best investments you can buy at $2 on Steam, so I could not recommend this game enough. So please check out Delete by Pony. That was our top 10 choices for our favorite cheap weekly thrills from the past year. Now here are some quick summaries on the remaining games from this last year. Cubic, a color-coded version of Martin Gardner's cube-based puzzle game. Bounce Ball, laser maze, but with a ball instead of a laser. Dungeons of Hell, when Diablo has their love child with Fire Emblem. BitBullet, a top-down version of Doom, but everyone is a moving turret. Next, Angry Birds, but it's a puzzle game with a fort at the end of the level. Exit 3 Painter, not actually a painting game. Bullseye, first-person archery in the middle of the ocean. Zenblocks, minimalistic Bejeweled, but the tiles are already matched. Air Dash, because being an actual air traffic controller takes way too much commitment. Pipes Racer, playing as a marble going down some, pipes? Carnage in Space Ignition, a futuristic space platformer with a compelling story that just happens to not be Mega Man. Medieval Real Estate, because being a real estate agent in the present day doesn't have enough gold-based economies anymore. Snowfall, because Metroid doesn't have enough Eskimos in it. Influence, Discount Agario. Balls and Magnets, a game where middle school science teachers can't get funding to buy it for the computer lab because it's too fun for middle school science. Lost in Space, a plausible situation for the future of humanity. Looney Rally, when Forza hires Borderlands to do the graphics. Hexaturn, outsmarting AI via turn-based strategy in a hexagonal environment. Invert, when Vess's development team was told that they couldn't rotate the world anymore. 100 seconds. 95 more seconds than it takes me to say something stupid. Project, when Minecraft becomes a silhouette-based puzzle game. The Balcony, a game that perfectly simulates my Wednesday afternoons. Groot, side-scroller bullet hell game with metal music and no easy difficulty. Vectorborn, side-scroller bullet hell game in space. Outrunner 2, because Crash Bandicoot's climb the wall levels weren't hard enough. Pixel Beef Battle, discount underground Mario Bros level from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Space Battlecruiser, space. Turns out it's not really fast out there. Primitive Race, a voxel racing game. Speed Jumper, side-scrolling platforming game. Sword Bounce, side-scrolling platformer game with bouncy sword. Project Maze, Space Hulk, but without gene stealers. Tank Slam, a traditional tank-based arcade game, but the CPUs are out for blood. Super Golf 2018, better than Super Golf 2017. Don't Bite Me Bro, Left 4 Dead, but Mojang did the graphics. Music Racer, iTunes, the racing game. Numberline 3, a hexagonal-based matching game. Age of Forays, turns out it wasn't easy being a Viking. Draught 2, better than Draught 1. Slitherlink, Nicole called, they wanted their game back. Thick Light 2, a light-based escape the jail game. Shadowplay, a light-based marble arcade game. Thank you for joining me for Cheap Weekly Thrills, a year in review, and thank you for joining me in this past year of Cheap Weekly Thrills. I hope you guys enjoyed the summary of our past year, and I hope I can see you guys in the next year of Cheap Weekly Thrills. Until then, take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.